So, I am going to dive in. I'm going to introduce us, and then I'm going to hand it off here. So, thank you for joining us today. We are continuing the Rethinking Reading AI for Literacy Achievement. This is a free Innovate US series sponsored by the Burns Center for Social Change's Equitable Literacy Initiative and led by our partners at ISTE. Please note that we're gonna do the recording, so I'm just gonna double check on that to make sure people know that that's happening, and then we'll save the last 15 minutes for Q&A as we're going along. In this series, we are showcasing how innovative leaders are using AI to make rapid gains in advancing literacy in today's classrooms. You can find our full schedule and register for the upcoming workshops. Agata can perhaps put that in the chat there for you. My name is David Fields. I'm a senior fellow here at the Burns Center for Social Change at Northeastern University. And at the Burns Center, we design and implement practical solutions to today's hardest problems. And so our process is we develop innovative, participatory, and equitable approaches to solving problems using new technology. So with that, I'm very happy to turn it over to Jessica Garner from ISTE.
All right. Well, good afternoon to everyone. I am Jessica Garner, as David mentioned. I'm Senior Director for Innovative Learning here at ISTE ASCD. And in my role, I do lots of things related to artificial intelligence. Most notably is that I lead one of our initiatives called Generation AI. And really excited about this partnership with Innovate US and excited to have our two presenters on today. So Generation AI really is just an initiative that is seeking to help educators consider how they use AI to transform teaching and learning. So we're on a mission to reach over 200,000 educators in the next few years and really just share some training and tools and some videos and just give some inspiration to folks who are really digging into this and thinking about what this looks like in their context. So I want to introduce our two speakers for today. First, I will introduce Dr. Michael Lubelfeld. He is actually one of our community of practice, love the Zoom reactions. He is one of our community of practice fellows with Generation AI. Very excited that he is speaking with you today. And he served as a public school superintendent in Illinois since 2010. He currently leads North Shore School District 112. This serves the communities of Highland Park and Highwood, Illinois, just north of Chicago. He is a nationally recognized educational leader, and he is deeply engaged in leadership development and professional growth, collaborating with state and national associations to inspire the next generation of educational leaders. He is a very sought-after speaker who's presented across the United States and internationally on topics including leadership, student voice, global service learning, and innovative educational practices. Dr. Lubelfeld has also co-authored several influential books, including The Unlearning Leader, Leading for Tomorrow's Schools, Student Voice, From Invisible to Invaluable, The Unfinished Leader, A School Leadership Framework for Growth and Development, and The Unfinished Teacher, Becoming the Next Version of Yourself. He's working on a new publication, Leading for Tomorrow's Schools Today, and that'll be released at some point this year. He's been recognized with multiple awards for his leadership, including the 2017 Lake County Superintendent of the Year Award and the 2021 Administration and Supervision Distinguished Alumni Award from the Loyola University of Chicago School of Education. And as I mentioned previously, he is one of our fellows for the Generation AI Communities of Practice. Mike and his wife, Stephanie, have two children. They live in suburban Chicago, where he continues to champion educational excellence and leadership development. So we are excited to have you on speaking today, really through that role of a district leader in bringing AI into the classroom. We also have with us Dr. Ashley McBride. My connection to Ashley is that she is in the state of North Carolina, as am I. She works for the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, and I have a lot of respect for what she does being in the state and working in districts and schools for about 20 years in North Carolina. So Dr. Ashley McBride has spent her career working with students and other educators as a secondary English teacher. She's been an instructional technology facilitator, director of technology, and her most recent role, she is currently the Digital Learning Initiative Section Chief for the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. In her work, she has led professional learning and statewide initiatives that help promote the effective and safe integration of technology for administrators, educators, and students. Her experiences in K 12 education and her research in the field have informed her 2021 ISTE published book, The EdTech Coaching Primer Supporting Teachers in the Digital Age Classroom. And I'm really excited to hear from Ashley. She is bringing the perspective of a state leader. And I do have to brag a little bit on North Carolina. It is my home state, but North Carolina has released an AI policy guidebook for districts and schools to follow that really has phenomenal insights for schools. And it's really a nice roadmap for districts and schools as they are developing AI policy and guidelines. So very excited to have both of these phenomenal speakers today. And without further ado, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Lubelfeld to give his presentation.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much for that really warm introduction, really kind introduction. That was awesome. And it's an honor to be here with everybody. And I can't wait to share with you and also learn together. So what I want to do is I'm going to get my video panel so I can see everybody. I've got a couple screens here. I'm going to move this. And I want to ask, can everybody see Navigating the AI Frontier in K-12? Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good day, wherever we are. Do me a favor and take a quick look at this screen. On purpose, you can see this word and this word don't appear to be words in the English language. This is why we're navigating the AI frontier. Artificial intelligence is, in fact, just that. Sometimes it's artificial and sometimes not so intelligent. I share this with you on purpose. I wanted to create an image using generative AI, and I'm pointing out that we never lose the human intelligence and the human touch whenever we're talking about generative AI, whether it's as a superintendent of schools, a statewide leader, classroom teacher, student, parent, community member, global citizen. The cool thing is we're not going to let perfect be the enemy of good. We're going to keep going, but I just want to point out that that's deliberately an error. So we're navigating the AI frontier in K-12, trends, practices, and leadership with an eye and a lens towards literacy. This is a little bit about me. I have been a teacher and an educator since the 90s, and I'm so thrilled to be with you today. I've been blessed with really cool opportunities, and it's fun to share that with you and try to help it create conditions so the adults who support the adults, who support the kids, can thrive and really do neat things. So what I want to do is frame it this way. We're going to talk about learning, experimenting, and innovating. And again, the eye is on literacy, and this is about literacy in the school, reading, writing, and speaking and listening. It's also about literacy in the generative AI concept and world. Anytime you see the AI emblem, the image was made by AI or made with AI. So what I'm sharing with our community here is if we're going to use it, or if we're going to use some of the suite of tools that are known as generative artificial intelligence, let's just give attribution. Let's make sure that we're acknowledging it. Let's bring it to the forefront so we can all learn, experiment, and innovate together. Now, this was also made with AI. I took the slides I wanted to use with you today in my roughly 20-minute talk, and I went to OpenAI's ChatGPT. I'm not endorsing any one tool. I'm going to mention many of them as we talk as part of the broad focus on literacy. And I said, what do I expect people are going to walk away with as a result of this time? And OpenAI, which is getting to know me because I've had it for a year or so, said there's going to be understanding, recognition, experience, and development. These outcomes were generated by OpenAI, and I'm identifying that AI said it. So I'm sharing that with you. It's kind of fun. It's a use case. Okay. On the left, you've got a quote that was attributed to Albert Einstein. When we look at the American system of education, really oriented towards standardization with all that good, bad, and otherwise, and looking at the 40 years since A Nation at Risk and 25 years, No Child Left Behind, you see a proctor behind a chair. For a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Albert Einstein is attributed with the quote, "Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid." So as a superintendent, I want to try to get to the big picture and get to the philosophy. So you've got a bird, a monkey, a penguin, an elephant, a fish in a bowl, a sea lion, and a dog. On the right panel, on the bottom right, the elephant decided to get a bit progressive and say, hey, now we can all climb that tree. Sometimes what we need to do in education is get rid of the obstacles and help create conditions where everybody has a chance to believe that it can climb it. Everybody has a chance to believe it can succeed. And everybody has a different way, an individualized way or a personalized way to impact their literacy. Now, careful though. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, or in this example, we can't throw the fish out of the bowl. So the old system might have killed the fish, God forbid. The new system still requires us to focus on no one size fits all. That's the point of that. Okay, boom. Google for Education shared this with me at a conference I was just at. It took 68 years for 50 million users to use airplanes. 68 years. It took 7 years for 50 million users to use the internet, created by Al Gore. Joking. It took 3 years for 50 million users to use the Facebook. And it took 5 weeks for 50 million users to use Gen AI and OpenAI's Gen AI tools, Gemini or OpenAI or whatever, Copilot. 5 weeks. Now, if that wasn't impactful enough for why we want to impact literacy in the classroom and why we want to help teach this and bring this to our teachers and our administrators and our students and our citizens, here's another one. Uber. Uber's a rideshare service. It took 70 months for 100 million users to Uber somewhere and turn it into a verb. It took 2 months for 100 million users to use OpenAI's ChatGPT. What? Yeah, people are using it, so catch up, everybody. Buckle up and let's go. That's why we're doing this. This slide is not meant for you to read it. It's meant for you to say, my God, I need another cup of coffee. November 2022 to February 2025. So what? Yeah, 2 years. All that stuff's going on in the generative AI world. My point to you is there's a lot going on. Again, District 112, inspire, innovate, engage. Your brain just made you think those 3 words were correct. Focus on the second word, please. Take a moment. I'm not sure what the third and fourth letters are, but they're not the English N or O. Your brain tricked you, though, because our brains are brilliant. We've been wired to biologically to make sense of that which is senseless. We've been wired to make sense of that which doesn't make sense. We identify patterns in our brain, much like large language models elicit patterns from language. Fascinating. So why are we doing this? Why do I believe in this so passionately? Why are we talking today? Well, AI for Education says that there's an opportunity for students if they can learn how to use generative AI tools and they can gain literacy, personalized learning, intelligent tutoring, a thought partner, and accessibility. I've got glasses that allow me to transcribe. So if I'm hearing impaired or if somebody's got a thick accent from a different language, I can read what they're saying. Accessibility is powerful. What about educators? Automating administrative tasks or automating administrivia. Generative AI tools, all companies, all things can help make things a little bit more efficient. Can also help an educator be a thought partner. Riddle me this. We went into education, public school education in America, built upon a factory model from the 19th century from Prussia, an empire that no longer exists. I hear it was really nice, little humor, right? I go to my classroom, I shut my door, I'm alone with 25 little kids or young adults. I need a thought partner sometimes that isn't a child. Sometimes this can help. And also bespoke AI tools. Nothing will ever replace the human in any of these equations. Pause for a moment. What do you think? I just dumped a lot of info at you. You've got a chat box. If you'd like to chat, I am more than willing to see what's on your mind. What are you thinking? Anything that resonates or jumps out at you so far? What do you think? And I'll leave the chat box open and I can also interrupt myself with any of your thoughts, but feel free to put something in the chat box. What are you thinking? I just shared some stuff with you, kind of the what are we doing here and why. Now, Are teachers prepared for generative AI? Ed Week, October 2024, showing you this. To understand this, 58% or 3/5 of all teachers that were surveyed, a representative sample, have not received professional development on generative AI in the classroom. But when you go from June 2023 to March 2024 to October 2024, we're really basically tripling the percentage of teachers who are receiving it, meaning everyone is seeing this craziness and this is like a fire hose, right? We know that we might need it. We're not getting enough of it, but some people are getting it. So we're starting to trend in the right direction. Even though they're not getting the training, and even though we're still behind, they're using it. We're all using it. 51% of teachers, more than half, use it to support students with learning differences. I'll submit to you as a parent and an educator, we all have learning differences. About half are using it to generate quizzes and assessments. Why not? If you're going to do it, why not use something new and inventive to try it out and increase your own literacy before you teach it to children? 48% are using it to adjust grade level, and about 2/5 are using it for lesson plans. But what about the kids? Lisa, thank you for putting something in the chat. As a teacher, we're still struggling with AI plagiarism. Nothing, Brist, etc. works 100%. What to do? Hold that thought, Lisa. I'm coming back to it. Hold that thought, and thank you. All right. Students are mostly really good. So 18%, only 1 in 5, think it's acceptable to have AI write an essay. I'm going to give you a hint. It's not okay to have AI write you an essay. 54%, though, think that it's good to use AI to research new topics. So pause for a sec. A survey of 1,300 teenagers, a representative sample from the Pew Research Center in 2024, think that, yeah, I can use it to research new topics, but most of them say it's not okay to write an essay. Again, going to Lisa's question that I'm going to come back to. Youth, 72% report from the 4-8 Heart research in February of 2024 want some help in how to use the different tools. They don't just know how to use it because they're young. Youth do agree, 62%, that learning how to use Gen AI can help give them an advantage in future jobs. Now, students are using it, but they're not literate. Again, going back to Lisa's question, literacy improvements also going to help prevent cheating, and I'll get to that in a moment. 86% of higher ed students are using AI in their studies, according to the Digital Ed Council. 58% of that 86% who are using it don't feel they have sufficient literacy, which begs the question, what are we doing about it while we're here today? Students want guidance. Teachers are saying there isn't guidance where they are. Now, Lisa, I'm going to get to you. I haven't forgotten you, but I want to talk about the disruption of skills. And Richard, too much hype of AI. Where's the data? You're awesome. I'm going to talk about that in a second, my friend. Quick thing, by 2030, skills gaps are going to increase according to the World Economic Forum's job report of January 2025, meaning if the economy is looking for people with different skills, the schools have to teach them that. I'm submitting to, and Richard, I'll talk with you about research, and Lisa, I'll talk to you about cheating and concerns in a moment. We've got to be able to upskill our youth so they can compete in the economy. The 10 fastest growing skills, 10 to 1, 10, environmental stewardship, 9, analytical thinking, 8, talent management, 7, leadership and social influence, 6, got it. You get the point. Most of them are not technology, some are. We need to balance this out. Fastest growing skills, and we'll get you the slides. Anytime there's a disruptive technology, people are worried jobs are going to be lost. When the automobile was created, 500,000 jobs were lost, but 7 million jobs were created. Okay, we'll share my slides. I do have a bot. If you take a picture of this QR code off of this, what I want you to do is talk about this. Scarlett's concerned about the environmental impacts. The individual queries use more energy. However, the data centers are committed to net neutrality in the data centers. ISTE, Richard specifically, is working on research. Stanford University has research. We've got core principles to find out this is working. So we don't want to just hype it. You're correct. Hold on now. Lisa, the elephant in the room is cheating, cheating, cheating. We've got problems with this. You're not kidding. Now, is ChatGPT biased? All of it's biased. What do we do about it? Go right here, make sure that you balance the bias with the human approach, and make sure you use non-white LLMs like Latimer AI to balance the white information. There's guidance in the country, 26 states. We've got a ways to go. All right. In my district, we've got policies with guidance.
This is a demo of long contact.
You're getting access to. Whew, okay. I'm very sensitive to time. There is research. Stanford is working on curating it to show you what is empirically out there to show that it is creating work. Follow Ethan Malik on LinkedIn from UPenn Wharton. Oh my gosh. Thank you all, folks. Thank you all. I'm going to pause now. Jessica got it fast.
Wow, that was a lot of information. Appreciate you sharing so many resources and just really good thought about what that looks like. So we have some questions that we'll address in our last 15 minutes. I know some people put some things in the chat. We will definitely get to those in the Q&A. But at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Ashley McBride. I think she's trying to find her unmute there.
Okay. I was looking for my unmute and I lost it because I started sharing my screen. Can you hear me now?
We can. Yep.
And everybody can see my screen.
We can.
All right. So you have access to the slides here. I have a Go link at the bottom and a QR code. My name is Ashley McBride, and I am presenting what our team has been doing at DPI. This is by no means a one-person undertaking, but in North Carolina, we've been trying to make sure that we are getting AI. I don't want to say getting AI right, but trying to get it as right as we possibly can. When we started, first thing we did was we went back to our digital learning plan. Our state has a strong digital learning plan since 2022. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't just take AI and start saying that that's it. We know that artificial intelligence is a game changer. It is switching up the way that we use web tools online and what they can and can't do, but we want to make sure that we're embedded and grounded in good, solid strategies. So you'll notice that the most important thing to us is our student learning experience. If you click on this image, it'll actually take you to our webpage with our state's digital learning plan and all of the resources around that. But I did want to point out that we started here with our plan. Then, as was mentioned earlier, we rolled out some AI guidance. You should have access to this. If not, you can grab this and go to that link and you'll be able to see our AI guidance. You will also notice that we have put in a number of edits. So one thing that I do want to talk about as you're talking about with schools or states or whoever is working on AI, there's a huge difference between AI policy and AI guidance. When we're talking about AI policy or we're talking about policy in general, that's something that would normally go to your Board of Education. So for instance, our digital learning plan, when you look at that, you're going to notice it's in a PDF form. It's not going to be changed. It's not going to be edited unless we go through the whole process of going through our board, getting it voted in, all of those things. So that's our big umbrella. Then our AI guidance, you notice all of these different changes here. These are guidelines that fall under our digital learning plan. And you notice that it's actually embedded in here. And each one of our sections, sorry if I make anybody dizzy, each one of our things is under a subsection of our digital learning plan. So we wanted to make sure we were grounded in research, we were grounded in best practices, and we were grounded in where we want our schools and school districts to go. Feel free to take this and look at it and dig through it. I will tell you, we are looking for a much larger update than the ones that we have listed up here. Coming up, that is something that we're working on right now internally. And we're waiting to get some feedback in order to make that actually happen. So once our AI guidelines were put in place, we had to find a way to disseminate that and start really working with our classroom teachers, with our coaches, with our librarians, our superintendents, and our administrators. So for our district leaders, our administrators, and superintendents, we have had 2 AI summits. The first one took place in 2023, and then the second one took place just in December 2024. So these were summits where we, if you're familiar with the shape of North Carolina, we're a really long state side to side. If you go from the beach to the mountains, it's going to take you a good 7-8 hours. So we try to make sure that everybody is able to get to any of our programs. So these AI summits happened twice each year. So you'll notice on the second one where it says that we were in Statesville and we were in Irwin. That was so our leaders could try to get there without having to do a 10-hour drive. So at these summits, we had AI for Education. We had some other guest speakers, but also we had our team kind of working with all of these individuals, talking about how they take our big guidelines that we put together for the state and they build guidelines for their own school districts. It's really important, especially in our state, we are very big on local control. So we can give guidelines. We don't tell people what they have to do, but we do tell people these are the best practices, and then we'll sit down with them and help them personalize those guidelines to their individual district's needs. And then some of those, like our big counties like Charlotte-Mecklenburg, Wake County, those districts might actually go and start doing some smaller guidelines specifically for their schools or their regional areas, just because we're talking about hundreds of schools. Once we worked with leaders, we started building what we call a collaborative. We had an AI collaborative last year and we had an AI collaborative this year. So we've done this for 2 years. The image was the same, so I didn't want to be redundant and put it in there twice. Our AI collaborative is where we invited educators from around the state to come and do very specific train the trainer professional learning. But on top of that professional learning, we asked them while they were learning and then going back, and it's a year-long program, when they would go back to their schools and implement their learning, we'd ask them to bring back those lesson plans that they built, those professional learning programs that they built for their teachers. And then we have a repository where we share that around the state. So that way we have curriculum aligned, lesson plans in English and science and math and all of these. And we are working in our second round of that. Our first round we found was more professional learning for the teachers because that's what was needed at the time. We are now working with more in the classroom educators who are able to do some more lesson plans and things along those lines. And then finally, for anybody who is not able because of finances or for any reason whatsoever, we have weekly webinars. We have our Wednesday webinars. And if you have access to these slides, I actually embedded the link of all of the recordings of our webinars. And specifically, we've got some that talk about doing research with AI. We've got some that talk about creative thinking and creation with AI. So check those out. We, again, do this every Wednesday, and you guys are more than welcome to access those. Share our YouTube channel, and this is our team, including Vera Cubero, which I noticed one of Michael's slides. The timeline slide was created by our very own Vera Cubero, who is our emerging technologies consultant at the department. And then we have a phenomenal team that has been working with school librarians and all of these individuals to talk about how to actually implement these AI resources into classrooms. And one other image I realized about 30 seconds ago that I forgot, we have a statewide membership with ISTE. ISTE has phenomenal resources for AI. They have the weekly webinars. We share those out with our teachers and remind them that those are out there. Some of those have to do with AI. The lesson plans, when those AI lesson plans came onto the ISTE website, that was my number one seller to get people into their ISTE memberships, because they were like, oh my goodness, I can take this, I can go over it, I can use it in my classroom, I can tailor it to my needs. So the fact that we offer ISTE membership and ASCD membership to every educator in the state has been a huge help as AI has come out. And then finally, what's coming? I told you we have the updated AI guidance coming, but we are starting to get ready to do micro credentials in the state of North Carolina. True micro credentials where teachers can earn a credential inside of a pathway in 20 minutes or less if they already know what they're doing. So we have two sets of pathways. We will have 4 pathways in the educators and 3 in the students. Reverse that. We'll have 3 in the educators, 4 in the students. And what we're doing is we will have micro credentials for our educators. And these are just-in-time, job-embedded, where they create a small project. And that small project then gets feedback. And if they meet the requirements of that project, then they get that micro credential badge. So our pathways are pre-K 2 in the classroom, how to talk to students and work with students about understanding what AI is, because believe it or not, our kinders and our first graders, they hear it. And so they're curious. How to have those conversations with them. We have one for 3-5 where we talk about how to work with students so that they have a better understanding. It centers a lot around digital citizenship. For our high school students, how they use AI for job applications and things like that. So these micro credentials, I can't give you all the skills and all the pathways just yet, but we're looking at approximately 50 to be ready by the fall. And we are going to put those out to the public, and anybody who wants to, use them can also do that. But again, they won't be ready till August. So if you have any specific questions after the Q&A and you want to reach out to me, my email address is there. Thank you so much for having me. And really, again, this is our team. Our digital teaching and learning team has put all of these wonderful programs in place.
Thank you, Ashley. I really do encourage you all to check out the resources that Ashley was talking about, because North Carolina has really done a nice job with putting things together and compiling them for educators. Ashley, I don't know if you have quick access to it, but the Looker dashboard that has the resources that were shared by the collaborative, I don't know if you have that link. I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it.
I don't have the link with me right this second. I'll try to shoot Vera a quick hey so she can give that to me if I can.
I was looking to see if I could find it. I have it somewhere, but it's another great resource.
I mentioned it. I didn't even think to add the link there.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Well, we have several questions. And so David has been compiling those.